Welcome back, guys. Episode 2 of the podcast theory. Hope you guys liked the first episode. Hopefully this time it's gonna be better for everyone. It's about the paranormal, UFOs, Bob Lazar.
Everything science fiction, everything out of this world.
French science.
Government projects.
The government is lying.
If this podcast ends, you'll know what happened to us.
If I disappear, you know where to find me, in some government lab. You know what I'm saying?
I have my will in the drawer just in case you guys, just in case I disappear or anything,
Am I in the will, Francis?
Yeah, you are in the will, don't worry.
Thank
I've
you.
written everyone in the will. Yeah, just
Nice.
in case,
Thanks.
To 3 idiots who got me into this mess.
Alright.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about Bob Lazar. And for those who don't know who Bob Lazar is, he was responsible for putting Area 51 on the map. And he claims to actually have worked on reverse engineering alien spacecraft at S4, which is a military facility near Area 51 in the Nevada desert.
Yeah, but how credible is Bob Lazar? Because I've heard that even though he has claimed that he's been in like MIT and like other kind of like high-ranking universities.
He has credentials. He was working at the military.
Yeah, apparently he does have credentials, but when people actual investigative reporters try to look for information, he's not in any yearbooks.
Alright.
They ask about like him.
I had the same thought when I was making my homework and just putting notes down for this podcast, and there's something fishy about people not able to find any information.
Yeah, exactly. He might be a sham.
I think he means something else.
Yeah, I mean something else.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
If you want to get a job at the American government, I'm sure they...
Sign a clause?
No, it's not that. I'm sure they...
Actually, we should talk about that later.
They looked at his background and they made sure he's credible for him to be like a scientist at some governmental institution,
Yeah.
So I'm sure if he entered the government, I'm sure he had some credentials already. So people not being able to find any of these credentials and going to MIT and not finding records and shit like that.
That's the government's work.
Yeah, that's the government's work.
Exactly.
And I'm pretty sure of that because it's either the American government is hiring people in a dumb way, or as expected, they just wanted him to disappear. What do you guys think?
Well, I think that journalist George Knapp, in May of 1989, Lazar actually conducted an anonymous interview as Dennis with the Las Vegas reporter, George Knapp. And apparently when he was investigating the story, he found a Robert Lazar listed in an internal phone book for Los Alamos,
Yeah.
And apparently Los Alamos has denied that he was employed there, and also MIT has no records of Lazar.
Yeah.
But I also think that he might be telling the truth,
I think he is.
Yeah, I mean, circling back to what Robin has said.
You think he's working on alien spacecraft?
No.
You think he's telling the truth that he worked on something?
He was working on something.
Yeah, he was working on something.
Secretive, and they wanted him to disappear.
Yeah, exactly. They wanted to shut him up because, I think they were probably scared of him sharing this technology. And, maybe other countries can take advantage of that information,
When was it, by the way? What year was that?
He said
1989.
It was when he came out and said that he was working. It was in 1989.
89. Okay.
89. And
89.
actually,
So it was after the Cold War and all.
Yeah, well, exactly. It was after
The Cold War didn't finish until 95, so...
Yeah, you're right.
What was it?
92.
92?
When the Soviet Union fell.
Yeah.
But to be fair, 1985 was the height of nuclear weapons production. That was the height of the Cold War.
Makes sense now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to protect the tech from the Soviets or
Yeah.
the communists in general.
Just something good to get out of the way for everyone here. Who believes in extraterrestrial life? Extraterrestrial
I
life.
believe in ETs.
Because I do believe that life might exist somewhere in this huge emasculate universe, but
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
huge universe. But I'm not sure if they have the technology to come visit us.
well, they can probably warp space and time. They're a
Noticed the reality
highly
shifts.
advanced civilization, and they can just use stargates.
If they're higher advanced than us, there's a good quote about this. I think Stephen Hawking said it. He said, the thing I fear about meeting a greater intelligent an alien that has greater intelligence than us is it's going to replicate what happens every time a more advanced civilization meets a weaker one. Is they'll either enslave us or kill us, which happened here all the time on Earth.
Yeah, that actually happened like with Christopher Columbus, right? I remember that quote.
Well, he was an idiot.
Yeah.
No, seriously, look at his, like, he asked, like, can I go, he asked 3 times, can I, this is irrelevant.
By the way, he's not the first one to go to...
Oh yeah, he's not, the Vikings did.
It's either the Vikings
to North America.
The Romans, I don't know if they went straight to North America, but I know the Romans went to,
but I'm
somewhere.
I'm sure he gets this glorified status that he discovered the...
Yeah, you're right.
And I'm sure he did.
Yeah, I think he took way too much credit for what other people have done before.
Right.
I think that's what you're saying.
Alright, so, me, aliens, sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
You, what'd you say?
Yeah, same. I think that aliens do actually exist, but that doesn't actually mean that they have to exist in this like humanoid or very advanced form. They can just be like bacteria. They can be like this lower kind of life form, you know?
Flora and fauna.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really have to be
It
like
could be
this
anything.
Yeah, exactly. It could be anything.
But why would it reach this level like we did as humans? Why?
Well, one day, maybe they got a head start.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, sorry.
I'm sure we're not the lucky ones to evolve that much.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we might not be the first civilization to like sprout out from nothing, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe other civilizations have come before us, you know? Maybe that's why they have like more advanced technology that would allow them to like come here. That's why we might have seen these UFOs, quote unquote, you know?
Well, what about Alan? Do you believe?
Of course I do believe. I mean, the truth is...
an X-Men shirt, so...
Oh yeah, they're very...
I was going to wear my X-Files shirt. The truth is out there. And actually, going back to Bob Lazar...
Yeah.
You know, he said that he claimed that the reason he came forward with information about extraterrestrial technology in possession of the government was because he believed to be, and I quote, a crime against the American people and scientific community to keep such information a secret.
Wow.
So if, you know, when I think the government would actually erase all traces, you know, like of him, you know?
He pulled the Snowden card.
Yeah, well, actually, you know, no professors remembered.
I mean, he's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of dirty secrets there. Like,
Dirty? What do you mean by dirty?
It's the biggest government ever.
What? No, it isn't.
It is.
The biggest government ever?
Like the...
What do you mean, the
biggest-
US government?
The biggest nation ever.
I mean,
Mankind.
economically,
Economically.
it's
Politically.
technically
I think
China. They're in
China,
debt
yeah.
to China.
Not really.
What do you mean, not really?
Okay, like...
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the production, or not production as in...
You mean the influence, I think.
influence and the biggest economy.
Quote unquote, yeah.
Because if you look at, let's say, their military spending, it's like...
Yeah, $600
Military
billion.
spending is not a sign of a good economy. It's a sign of floating resources.
It's a sign of having a lot of resources too.
No, a floating resource, as in being spent on nothing of value.
Still, doesn't that mean that they have a lot though to spare?
A lot to spare. That's like rewarding someone for buying 100 cans of tin beans. It's like, look how much tin beans he has. Look at all this money he has, but he's spending it on the wrong thing. They don't even have a working healthcare system.
Yeah, you're right.
Necessary, though.
I was thinking like they were allocating resources to a
I'm
lot
a
of
libertarian.
places.
Whatever.
Wait, you're a
Let's go
libertarian.
back.
Let's go back, and he talked about element 115, which apparently is known as also
Moscovium.
Moscovium. Yeah, that's
Moscovium,
a
yeah.
jawbreaker. You know.
Yeah, actually, it was called Moscovium because after it was like talked about by Bob Lazar, I think scientists in Moscow in 2003 have like synthesized it in labs, so that's why they've called it Moscovium.
Well, the element hadn't you know, at the time when he
at
said
the time, it didn't
hadn't been
really named.
exist. It created in a lab yet. You know, it was in 2003 that Russian scientists synthesized the element for the first time.
Yeah.
So I think that lends credibility to his story.
Yeah.
And I mean, they would go, the government, again, like I said, the government would go to great lengths to actually discredit his story because he saw something that we weren't privy to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and circling back to what you said earlier, like aliens would travel here with stargates and they would actually warp space and time, right? Bob Lazar was working on like reverse engineering this engine that would apparently be able to bend space and time thanks to element 115. So yeah, exactly.
Space and time engine.
Yeah, I know.
I know. That's kind of weird,
yeah,
man.
he said sorry, go ahead, John.
I was just gonna say, I mentioned this earlier, but like I was gonna say, I think it's more realistic that when he was okay. So we all know the Cold War was, well, the biggest thing to happen after World War II. So a lot of the American governments the American government was freaking out, like we need to outrank the Soviet Union in every way possible.
Yeah.
Now, it's not a new thing that they were working on testing new means of warfare. I don't think it's that unrealistic that they hired him to work on a new propulsion system to develop new flight vehicles and stuff like that. Well, the Blackbird came out of these kind of research
Yeah,
things.
exactly. Came out of Area 51.
Well, not
The
Area 51,
Aurora
but it came out of these kind of projects.
aircraft
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
So for him to develop a new one is not that unrealistic.
Stealth.
My theory is that they would tell him, listen now, what's his real name? I forgot. I heard
No,
the fake
Bob
name.
Lazar.
Bob Lazar.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
what was
his
the
real
fake?
name.
Oh, whatever.
Oh, Dennis. That was
Yeah,
his
Dennis.
pseudonym.
So they goes like, listen, Bob, we've got this new project for
Hey,
you. It's
buddy.
like, wow, really great. So we're working on an alien. So they're telling him, we're working on we found this alien propulsion system. Can you reverse engineer it and try to figure it out? He's like, yeah, okay. So he works on it. And they tell him, oh, this rare element, Muscovian, it's 115 or whatever. Like, wait,
but at the time it
Element
wasn't
115.
named.
oh, whatever they called it.
Yeah.
They tell him these things. They tell him it's alien and weird, whatever.
He gets hard. He does the job.
Yeah, he does the
does get
job.
hard.
No. I think he does it. It's not that unrealistic that a government-funded project would be done, but whatever.
That's actually plausible.
Yeah, it's
Well,
plausible
I was going to
story,
say,
that
if
makes
they
sense.
do all this, the moment he leaves the project or tries to talk about it, it sounds so ridiculous that it's discredited. And then people will feel like, oh good, there was no secret project using our money to fund this ridiculous machine. So I feel like that's more like it. Robin and I were talking earlier in the studio about different countries having their own schematics for these kind of vehicles.
So what you're
So-
saying is it's a complete sham. Like that's just like
I feel like
No, I don't think
They
he's
were-
saying
they
that
were
it's a
using
complete
this
sham.
absurd idea of
Of aliens.
I'm doing
to
quotation.
trick him.
Yeah,
a
exactly.
smokescreen.
It was like
Yeah.
a smoke screen.
As-
Exactly.
as a
It was a
decoy.
disguise.
The best way to preserve information is to lie the ones you're giving it to.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, but I mean, why would
So
they talk about
misinformation.
aliens like something as outrageous as aliens? Like
Like if the story was that they were developing something for to defeat, let's say, the Soviet Union, it makes a lot of sense. So people will directly be like, "Oh, that makes sense." So, but if they go with the alien theory thing, I'm sure a lot of people don't even believe there are aliens. So
Yeah.
they
And
would
if they
discredit
do-
things.
I mean, it would be presumptuous to think that we're the only sentient life
Yeah,
in
you're
the
right.
cosmos.
Yeah.
You know.
I
That's
think
kinda
it's
egocentric
absurd.
even,
I
you
think
know?
it's egocentric and it's absurd.
There's a great
Yeah.
statistic that said saying there's no aliens in life because we've looked through space is the same as saying there's no fish in the ocean because
Yes,
we've looked at a
yeah.
bathtub of water. That's how much
right,
we
you're
have
right.
observed the observable universe.
That's true.
Yeah.
We've observed so little.
You know,
Yeah.
There is an entire another galaxy that we can't even see properly
like,
yet.
we
if
don't
you
even
know.
know what's under the sea.
Yeah.
No.
We
I mean,
we don't we haven't even
90% of
explored
the
our
ocean is unexplored. You know.
Yeah,
You never
we
know, maybe
discover
there
new
are
species
aliens
on
there.
Earth every day, and we live here. So there's no. It's kind of a bit obnoxious for someone to think, but obviously there's none out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Like-
Even if we don't see them, because our technology is still not that advanced to look
That's
that
why
far.
I always say that there are no real facts, because we don't have all the data. So maybe our
Like what we consider facts now is not always okay.
I consider
What about
something
scientific truths?
that's
Like what?
what I'm saying is, let's give me an example of something universally accepted.
Like the Earth
The
revolves
laws
around
of
the sun?
physics.
All right. Do flat earthers agree with that? All right, let's take that then.
Yeah.
So let's say there's some invisible thing that making this illusion that we're turning around the sun, and
Like a bored
This
demon.
is gonna
You
end
never
with
know.
we're living in a simulation, isn't it?
I do believe we live in a simulation.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
But my
We've opened
point
the
is,
whole
my
can
point
of
is
worms.
that we don't have all the variables. So what we assume that these two have correlation. Maybe there's a third party thing that's doing the
Influence.
yeah.
Mm.
But we don't know it exists. So it's like having a deaf guy listening to music and he doesn't know it's there, like some sort of
Like there's
other
something
dimension.
outside of our senses.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah,
Outside
I know
of
what
our
you mean.
That
knowledge
bends
and
to the paranormal.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah, that makes sense.
I do believe there are more than what we can see and hear.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
you're
not that unreasonable
Yeah.
to think that.
Yeah, I do think.
I mean, we
I
do have a
think that.
limited amount of like senses to actually detect everything in the universe. You know, like some animals have senses that we don't have.
Like dogs, for instance, they can detect, spirits or...
They
Yeah,
can?
and like
Wait, what?
you see cats know before an earthquake.
Yeah, but that's 'cause
Yeah,
they
exactly.
can feel it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
They
it's
have
not it's like
magneto. I don't know what it's
overpowered
called.
sense.
No, I mean it's not that. But
If I want to put it into perspective, so we have a table in front of us. So
Okay.
let's say you're on this table in a 2D plan, S- Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
touching the table. All right, so you're in a 2D plan, and you have a hand hovering over you,
Yeah.
but it's in the third dimension.
yeah, I know.
Oh
what you
yeah,
mean.
the plane argument.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so for us it makes sense that we see it, there's a third dimension because we can see it and feel it. And
Yeah, I know
like
what
that.
you mean. Yeah.
But if something lives in a 2D dimension,
Yeah, they can't really see. They can't really
don't know
feel
that
it.
it exists, you know?
Yeah, you're right.
So that's my point about having paranormal and shit like that. Like people dismissing what they can't
See,
explain
Yeah.
because they are either scared or they just want to dismiss it out.
Mm.
Of,
It's ignorance is
ignorance.
Yeah, you're right.
I think we tend to hide behind scientific dogma. Like, I guess, like 25% of,
Americans.
no, I would say more. Well, okay, maybe 40% believe in the existence of paranormal. So that's a high number. I don't think people are. Like there are millions of people who've experienced paranormal phenomena. I don't think they're hallucinating.
You know what's weird?
Yeah.
Is having religious people not believing in this shit because their belief is centered on something they can't explain.
Yeah, like spirits and stuff like that. I guess.
You know, so
Like,
I don't
they
get the
have
idea.
faith, but they don't match that with believing in
Yeah,
paranormal.
yeah, like if you believe in a god, and I'm not saying it's not true. Maybe
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is. You never know.
Yeah.
I'm agnostic, so if you believe in a god, why can't you believe in other types of spirits or ghosts or shit?
Yeah, I
like
think that's out of fear because they say that maybe if you talk
Like-
about dead demons
yeah, they
and
want
stuff
to
like
take
that.
the good side of things, and they don't want to look at the evil side. Like,
Like
if there's something good, I'm sure there's something equally bad. You know?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, Those
There's
have to
some
have
holy
balance.
scriptures and stuff that directly talk about spirits visiting angels and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And, like,
Yeah, you're
and
right.
then the same people who sneer at the idea of like a dead woman inhabiting a house, which is like, I don't know.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they do believe, but it's that's what I've noticed in Lebanon. Like it's considered taboo because
Ghosts? Or
yeah, ghosts.
Yeah, you're right.
Paranormal.
Yeah,
Well,
they fear talking about that stuff.
they do.
actually, yeah.
They just don't want to
Yeah, they
touch
don't want
with
to
a
bring that stuff out. Yeah.
10-foot pole.
I don't get it. Honestly, I don't get it. How can you live a life without questioning everything
Yeah.
around you?
It's easy. You just try to be happy.
Yeah, I mean,
then
ignorance
they
is bliss,
think-
isn't it?
Yeah, it's like
Is that ignorance is bliss?
Yeah,
that's the version of
quote.
that. Like, if I don't know about these horrible things, it doesn't affect me.
Yeah,
That
it doesn't exist.
You can ask like teenage girls.
That's Schrodinger's
They don't-
cat.
That's a good school of thought, you know. Makes everything so easy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, so let's go back to our
Bob
main topic.
Lazar.
Bob Lazar, the myth.
Well,
The legend.
I recommend you check out the documentary Bob Lazar, Area 51 and Flying Saucers, and it's by.
Is he still alive though?
Are you in
He is
cahoots
still
with the
alive, and he
producer?
has a.
Are you in cahoots with the producer? That's why you're shilling his thing, right?
No, I just think that the guy is actually a well-rounded character. I mean, we should listen to him, and you should all check out his documentary. It's called, like I said before, Bob Lazar, Area 51, and
Doesn't he have a book too?
Who, like Bob Lazar himself?
So
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think
I know that other writers have written
I'll
books about
check.
him, but
No,
not
yeah,
himself.
that's what I mean. Like there are books about the topic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there
you
are.
like to read. Yeah.
Yeah.
Want to watch. So.
So it's by the documentarian Jeremy Corbell, and you should all buy it on iTunes. Don't pirate, please. Support
yeah, Alan.
Wait.
local filmmakers.
Why wouldn't
Documentarians.
why wouldn't that be like? Wouldn't that be the argument of this is a money scam? If
Makes sense.
he makes money, oh, that's why I was checking the book now on my phone.
Oh,
Like,
there's actually a book about Bob Lazar.
I'm looking
I'm
now.
sure
sure there are a lot of
there's
books
some
about
sort of.
his-
I mean, about
experience.
Area
I don't know if
51,
he
but I
wrote
don't think
it.
it's about, because
Himself?
because he kind of disappeared for like 25 years.
I mean, he didn't.
Yeah,
write
but he's
any
done like
books.
interviews.
Interviews,
and, yeah,
but
and
he-
radio talk shows.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I've heard about him mostly. And he was talking about like.
I want to talk about
experiences in Area
something
51.
regarding Bob Lazar, and we were mentioning that if he's credible or not.
Yeah.
I was watching some podcasts about the subject and documentaries, and they were talking about how the government was. I don't know if that's true though. So
They wiped
I might be
information
wrong.
about him everywhere, I think.
It says he used to be a film processor.
Yeah, I've also read that. I don't know what that means.
No, it's
honestly.
someone who.
Bob.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bob. Yeah.
He was also in 1990. He was aiding and abetting like a prostitution ring as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Like
nice.
you know, when they have
That's how you know
negatives,
it's
film
credible.
negatives, and photo processing, like
Come on.
light.
Oh yeah, I know what you
Yeah.
mean now.
So
yeah.
he was a photographic processor.
processor.
He
Yeah.
put
Yeah, you know the negatives and stuff back in the day. That's how they used to develop photos. Yeah, that's
fishy,
right.
Though.
What do you mean?
That's fishy.
Like he works as that?
Well, he works with prostitutes and he works on film.
Okay.
And he came up with a good story, you know.
So I guess most of the stuff we watch was like probably made by him.
No, I don't believe.
Like vintage.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
okay.
Scrap that, man.
Conclusively,
Yeah. Conclusively.
what do you guys think? Like,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
give me a definitive.
Yeah,
What do you mean? Like if he's credible or not?
He's credible or not?
yeah. I want to say something. Like they were. I heard that the government was like after they were hiding the information about him, like if he was credible, if he went to MIT and information like that, you know. So
yeah. Actually, I want to add on that after you're done.
alright, so they were trying to, I don't know if the goal was to make him seem like a degenerate or if they wanted him to commit suicide, but there were stories like, let's say he goes into a shop and he had a gun in his car.
Yeah, I think they took his gun.
No, they used to come, open his car, open the windows,
Then they
open
leave.
everything, take the gun, put it on his seat and keep it there.
Yeah.
So I took it that way. I took it like they wanted him to think that he's crazy, and the gun symbolizes just shoot yourself, motherfucker.
No, actually, I think
Is
those
that
are threats.
gaslighting? Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
Gaslighting?
Gaslighting is like, with that example, it'd be like they move his car every time he parks it,
Yeah, they wanted
And-
to make
like really bad pranks.
not
No, I
bad
don't-
pranks,
don't, just
like
a-
they wanted him to go crazy, maybe.
Yeah.
I-
So that would
I
be
think
like,
they
for
were, threatening
example,
him.
they leak things about his wife or about him that aren't true, and making gaslighting is when you try to alter someone's memory by changing the present.
Yeah.
So if you forget to take
denying
out
it,
the
yeah.
trash, and your wife says like, "Why didn't you take out the trash?" You say like, "Oh, you didn't ask me to." So really, yeah, we were here. Like you try to pretend.
Yeah.
That's gaslight, and I think that's like that. It does make someone crazy, and it is abuse.
I think I would go crazy. Like if I know I'm right, and I know that I have some groundbreaking information, and people just want to dismiss me because the government wants to dismiss me. You know,
Yeah.
I would either go crazy or use that to my advantage to make some good money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, here's something interesting. He owns and operates United Nuclear Scientific Equipment and Supplies. They sell just different materials, including radiation
When did he
sensors,
open the
radioactive
company?
ores. But here's the interesting thing. Him and his wife, who run it, they were charged with a federal hazardous substances act for shipping restricted chemicals
Yeah.
across state lines.
Yeah, that's what.
And they
I
pled
said as
guilty,
well. Oh wow. So it's actually.
and they
true.
were fined for it. So,
Well, they were just fine. They weren't put like behind bars or anything.
I mean, it's a company. I mean, are they really gonna... Oh, and they used to make illegal fireworks, too.
Illegal fireworks.
The fuck
In
is that?
2007, it was fined $7,500 for prohibiting the sale of chemicals and components used to make illegal fireworks. So they let people buy components that could make fireworks, which in turn could be explosives.
So let's put
Oh, yeah.
let's put it on the list. He was
He owned a
Bad.
company that sold hazardous materials.
Yeah.
and he
worked-
was a filmmaker.
Yeah.
No,
And
film
he had-
processor. But
Film
yes.
processor, yeah, that makes
he used
sense.
to
Of
work with
course.
prostitutes.
Yeah, like at
No,
Brothel
they-
or something.
that's
they
what
weren't
they
working
charged
with
him with.
prostitutes. Yeah.
Colluding with them.
Colluding,
Yeah, colluding with them.
Touching
Yeah,
the meat,
exactly.
you know what I'm saying?
And about his credibility, like I have this Wikipedia page on him, and it's open, and I quote: "No professors remembered Lazar. There was not any yearbooks, nor were there records of him attending,
Mhm.
and he could not remember the year he obtained his master's. Like he himself cannot remember the year.
Which reminds me
Got
of
his
some
master's, so that's
Bravo
kind of weird.
shit.
Yeah. Also, MIT. He was also not a member of any professional bodies. MIT has confirmed that there is no way to expunge someone from their records.
Fuck 'em.
But the government can.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't MIT government? They get government subsidies.
Yeah, I think they do. Yeah.
I
See,
think
here's
every
the thing.
major university gets.
There's
this kind of
only
money.
two real... No, there isn't. There's more than that, I guess. But the two major arguments is either he is telling the truth and the government's covering everything up,
Yeah.
or
That's what I think.
he
is
claimed
actually
all
the
of
case.
this for the fame and whatever. Because, let's say he did hold sensitive information. Why is he alive? It was the 80s. They could have gone away with it.
That's the thing. If you kill someone, and
It confirms what they were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And Actually, if he's dead, I'm sure he's telling the truth.
Well, he was alive. He made a film too.
No. If they killed him afterwards, I'm sure. Yeah,
He would have been labeled as a martyr even.
That would confirm the theory, you know.
Yeah.
Why would he die? It's like those.
Yeah, so I'm saying it's more likely he's
It's like
just fake.
those
Like, let him say.
Hillary Clinton
What?
people who just die out of nowhere after they find something fishy.
What, seriously?
Later on.
I'll do some actual investigating later.
In private.
I don't know what you mean, John. Like you were saying, like if they don't actually kill him, then that means he's actually a sham and not a. He's not actually like doing.
Like
That's a lot
what
of
he
work.
was.
That's a lot of work, though, if you want to lie about it.
Yeah,
Like there
exactly.
haven't been real discrediting campaigns besides the whole like. Let's say they try to erase his history. Like, okay, so
Why would he? Why would he want to do something like that? Like,
Yeah, actually,
don't
he
think
told
he
this
can
story
find a
to
job
his wife
now.
and to his mother, to his.
So that's why I was
family.
looking like he doesn't have any records of employ. Like, what did he do besides being a film processor?
Yeah.
If you had a master's degree but he can't remember where he got it, you would still have it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Why didn't you use it to get a job?
I'm sure no one would give him a job if he's on that kind of list in the government, you know. And the thing is, your point about making money. You guys did some research now. Did he write any book? Is he getting
No,
any
it didn't say any
royalty?
books. It's
No,
just the
yeah.
movie,
So if he
which came out last year.
if he wanted to make some
You're
good
right.
cash, why wouldn't he just write a book? I'm sure a lot.
And he
Yeah,
disappeared
actually-
for like 25 years. He would have,
Yeah.
like, he could have, banked on it, but he chose not
Yeah,
to.
That's the
exactly.
point.
He
He
chose
went
not
off.
to. Yeah.
He went off the grid. So I think he's probably telling the truth.
Is
Yeah,
he
he
getting-
said
is he
that
getting
himself
a-
on the radio show. Like, what's it called, Coast to Coast?
Coast to Coast
Yeah, he said it
AM
himself.
with the late Art Bell.
Yeah.
It was just an interview, though.
Is he getting any royalties
From what?
From
I'm
the
just asking.
documentaries and
Movies,
stuff like that.
documentaries.
Probably
the
from
movie,
the documentary.
it only is one movie, and that came out last year. If it's royalties, he wouldn't have gotten shit for it for years.
He was working on, like, I guess, obviously the propulsion system
Yeah.
of, and he claimed that there were 9 extraterrestrial spacecrafts in the possession of the United States.
Area 51 or
Area 51.
Like the same
fucking
aircrafts or slightly different versions.
No, I think it was the same aircraft.
like a
and
fleet.
How did they even get them though? Assuming they were actually
Probably,
there.
and because we'll talk about this. When we're discussing Roswell.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think there was a crash in 1978. And they probably recovered.
Roswell?
And
So they got
Roswell,
9?
but-
So they got 9?
Yeah, they got 9 from just one.
How do you get
crash?
9 and no one notices?
I have a theory about that.
Okay.
It comes from
Lay it on
Alex
us.
Jones.
Okay,
Well,
Alex
it's just
Jones.
because he's an entertainment.
Yeah, I agree with
It's
John.
funny,
I
it's
agree
funny,
with John.
It's just a good theory, you know.
Okay.
Let me share
Yeah.
it. So
Lay it on us, man.
So he says that high-ranking people in big governments, including the Nazis back then,
What the reptilians?
it's not that. They had contact with aliens and they were doing bad shit.
Why would aliens contact just some people?
They would contact the elites. Why would they contact me and you?
I didn't
that's
talk
not true. I mean, because
I think he's talking about like they contact the leaders of a civilization. I guess that's what he's
the
talking
hidden
about.
council, you know.
Yeah. I
Well,
guess
Bob
that-
Lazar did
The
actually-
hidden council?
No, it's
Yeah,
not true.
that's
Yeah,
what-
I want to put it into perspective.
Oh,
There's
okay.
some hidden council of the elites. Let's say Trump.
You mean Majestic 12? Because that's what Bob Lazar
Yeah,
said.
you
That's
have
what
to
they
talk about Majestic 12.
Yeah, that's what I like. The elites. I forgot the name of this thing. All the major business people go to this island. I think.
Bohemian Groove?
Is that the one with the giant owl?
Yes, like
Oh, the
an
owl.
effigy. There's an
Yeah.
effigy
Yeah,
there, and they
exactly.
burn it, and they like
Yeah, the
chant.
owl.
Yeah, true.
Someone claims all world leaders do this.
No, it's not claimed. It's true.
They go and burn an effigy on an
that's
island.
actually
That's
true. Yeah, you can look
Yeah,
it
yeah.
up,
There's a video online. I'll send you the link. If you want.
You can't go if you're a president. If you're an active one. They just get people of high influence to go there.
Yeah.
All right. So let's take that as an
So
example.
maybe the aliens just found them burning this effigy
No,
and they
they
were like,
just-
hey, let's just
like-
talk to these guys.
No, my point is, if you're an alien civilization
Yeah.
and you want to go and talk to another alien civilization,
Yeah, you have to talk
would you
to the
go
head.
to the
Public?
butcher and talk to him? You would ask like the normal diplomatic process, you know. You would go to the higher ranking people, put contact with them, and afterwards, if the two civilizations want to talk to each other. My point is that they're gonna go to the higher ranking ones. So,
So there's an intergalactic federation.
not
Wow,
Not
that would be
not
amazing. Intergalactic Federation.
Let-
That
let's
sounds
keep
so
it- let's keep
grand,
it
man.
on the Earth level. So let's say
Yeah, we should talk about Intergalactic Federation.
I want to talk about shit like that actually,
Yeah.
and
We should talk about Sherry Shriner. He talks about that stuff, or she. I don't know. Honestly, I'm sorry.
is she transgender?
I have no idea.
What do you
Okay.
mean by that?
Well, so there was a rancher. He was called Mag Brazel.
Okay.
And he discovered debris. Apparently, or allegedly, a UFO crashed in the Nevada desert, and he apparently contacted the local sheriff and George. He was called George Wilcox, and that.
That's a great name.
And George contacted, his superior officer, Colonel Blanchard, and Blanchard appointed an intelligence officer to recover the debris. And
Some Game of
you've
Thrones
probably
shit.
heard
I
about
know.
the intelligence officer from the 509 bombardment group. His name was Jesse Marcel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently, they issued a press release saying that they captured a flying saucer. So the next day, the military redacted the story and said that it was a weather balloon. So what do you guys
Very
make of this?
convincing.
Very convincing.
Yeah, that's the best story they could have come up with, honestly.
Actually, it makes sense.
No, I'm just
The
kidding.
weather balloon thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are being sarcastic, but
Yeah, I am obviously.
What do
yeah.
you mean?
it makes sense.
That it's an actual weather balloon, or that they would
Yeah.
use this phrase
No,
as a
so
weather
how?
the story
Explain.
makes sense at the time.
Okay. Oh, at the
Because
time.
the thing with weather balloons...
measuring
what they-
radiation, right?
No.
Oh.
It's Project
It was-
Mogul.
No. Yeah, it's called Project Mogul.
What is that?
The point is, like if you put, I don't know what they are called, like those microphones underwater, and you can hear from miles away
What?
if there are sounds.
Sonar.
Yeah,
Sonar,
Oh,
yeah.
sonar. Okay.
Okay,
Well,
so
actual
there's something
microphones,
you can do something similar in the atmosphere, I think. So
Okay.
they were using weather balloons, and they were putting like some acoustic shit on it.
Okay.
So
Like a guitar.
oof.
Acoustic shit.
Yeah,
They're literally like
Some
ultra light and ultra strong, fabrics, and
Yeah, and the point was that since it was the Cold War, they wanted to know if there was any Soviet nuclear testing.
Yeah, that actually makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? So the story makes sense, but what comes after that doesn't make sense. Like
What do you mean?
redact,
Oh,
the
yeah,
first press
okay.
release, and then the day after they released something else, and the witnesses, like there was over like 600 witnesses that.
yeah, that's true. There were a lot of eyewitnesses, and
Yeah.
even Jesse Marcel, Senior, released an affidavit, and he said that, we did recover. He backtracked on his
Yeah.
statements, and he said that we recovered an alien spacecraft.
And something about that the average, they were putting dummy people on the. They were still testing. That's my point. So they were
I
putting.
don't understand. Testing the weather balloon, you mean?
Yeah, the weather balloons. So they were putting dummy people on
You
it.
mean like
Crash test dummies?
Yeah,
Yeah, crash
something
test,
like
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, I've heard something like that. So I guess you're gonna say that the aliens are actually crash test.
No.
dummies.
That's
Crash test dummies are taking over the planet, everyone.
Yeah.
Please be calm.
They're part of the intergalactic.
So they put them in the weather balloon?
yeah,
Why?
because I think they didn't want to put normal people in it.
Aren't weather
Yeah, but
balloons
what-
unmanned?
Man, these are not normal weather balloons.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why he's gonna talk about
The-
Project
yeah,
Mogul
you
afterwards.
sound like a military officer that probably
That's
recovered
not-
the
You
from
fool.
here,
Oh, man.
from
These are not
Nevada
no
desert.
ordinary weather balloons.
These are high military.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
so the size of these testing dummy people, I don't know what they are called. So it's like around 6 feet tall.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
All right, and one
Yeah,
of
you're
the one of the main constants when the witnesses like their reporting was that they found bodies that were like around 4 feet
4
tall.
feet,
4
yeah,
feet tall, yeah.
4 feet tall. So if this puts to rest the theory that the bodies weren't actually alien bodies,
Yeah.
they were the testing bodies, because they are so different. And other than the bodies found there, there was this debris metal. It's called memory metal. I don't know if that's the actual name, but that's what they call it. So it's like a metal that has plastic properties.
Okay.
And when they were trying to, let's say, try
Break
to
it or bend
break
it.
it,
Yeah,
burn
they-
it,
they
scratch
can't.
it, they couldn't do anything about
Yeah.
it, And if you want to bend the metal, it bends like plastic.
But
But when
then
you leave it,
Turns back to its original
yeah,
shape.
true.
Yeah, that's why
So
it's called memory metal.
So how
Yeah.
would they reverse engineer it? If it can't be bent, burned, or scratched.
That's the point.
I guess
I don't
just
think.
study its composition and then probably work on that.
Yeah.
Well,
Like, how is a metal like that? Like, physics question. How is a metal like that formed? How do you use it?
Maybe it's from outer space and we don't have it here.
No, that's not what I meant. If it can't be bent, scratched, burned, or whatever.
Maybe it's lab-made ISO. What's it called?
Isotope?
Isotope. Yeah.
That doesn't change the
I highly
properties.
doubt
Yeah.
that. I think that the item that Marcel said fascinated him the most was actually a small beam with purple hieroglyphics on it, and
Were they glowing?
No, they weren't glowing. It didn't have a
Saints Row shit.
luminous,
Yeah.
effect to it. But they did say that they tried, destroying it with a sledgehammer, and it wouldn't.
Yeah, it bounced.
break.
It bounced off.
I have a
I hope they
point.
didn't get hurt.
Why would if scientists and military discovered hieroglyphs on a precious metal, why would they try and break it?
Yeah, exactly. They would probably call in some archaeologist or some expert to read them.
That's the thing. That most of the people that were there at the beginning, they were either farmers or locals. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
if locals did that, sure, but we're saying this is the military report said they couldn't break it or bend it and shit.
They were testing it, man.
Yeah, but
by
I mean,
breaking
it
it.
had fucking
When we
hieroglyphics.
find Egyptian hieroglyphics now, we don't like. Let's try and see if
I
we
don't
can.
know about the hieroglyphics, but
Okay.
I know
No,
about
his son, Jesse Marcel Jr. actually said that his dad came in one night and he woke him up and told him, "Look, I discovered something out of this world."
Yeah.
And they tried to try to bend it. It wouldn't bend,
Yeah.
So I mean,
So I
Not
guess
very
he
This
was
is
good.
not-
Not a very good military official if he's just taking it to his house.
I guess he was just.
You'd
being
think
an
if this
ass,
was a
man.
big government conspiracy and they were trying to keep it down, why would they let some guy take a piece home?
No, that's not what he said.
He just said he took it to his house and said,
No,
"Look, I
no,
found
he
something."
went,
out of this
he
world."
went to his house and
woke up his son. Yeah,
and
I
told
think
him about it.
that was in the dead of night, and probably
Yeah.
because he was an intelligence officer, he was working with, he was appointed.
Right,
by-
you're saying he showed a piece to his son,
Yeah.
so he got a
Showed the
piece.
piece to his son.
Yeah, yeah. He
That's-
woke
that
him up.
makes sense.
Yeah, see, that's why I know you're thinking the same thing. Like, how would he do that? Intelligence officers are more scrutinized and watched over than just random.
Yeah, I think
Rooks.
take
Yeah.
a look at Anderson Cooper. He
Who's
used to
Anderson Cooper
The,
again?
Who's he again?
the
Yes,
CNN
and-
anchor,
he used to work at
Silver Fox.
Oh yeah, okay, I know who you're talking about
Was
now.
he a CIA agent?
Did he actually? Wasn't the thing that they found out he didn't? There was a
No,
big
I don't
scandal
think so.
about that. Let's.
He looks like an agent, though.
Oh yeah, looks like an agent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you can get the feel of CIA out of him, you know. So I'm sure if he was if someone that was in the intelligence agency, I'm sure he wouldn't take a piece to his.
Yeah, the point is saying no intelligence officer would be like, "I'm gonna show my kid
Yeah, so that's a dumb. I don't think that's probable, you know.
Maybe he had clearance,
to take a
Yes,
piece
yeah,
home
it
with
was
him
like,
of the most undiscovered thing on Earth."
He was like level 10 shield officer kind of thing.
Probably like
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, like Nick.
That's like Nick Fury gonna be like, "Guys, you know this Tesseract? I'm just gonna show my cat."
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
the cat
you
literally
can't-
ate it.
Okay, yeah. Spoilers for who fucking cares.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Shit
but seriously, that doesn't make sense. The intelligence officer just taking it back with him.
Yeah, honestly, I also
Doesn't
don't
make
really
sense.
get. Yeah, I don't think that's actually plausible. You know.
I mean, and even like a lot of people who were involved with the Roswell crash,
Yeah.
kind of, came forward in the late, late 1990s, and said that, oh, we actually discovered something, extraterrestrial,
Yeah.
and there were a lot of
So the
documents.
government just doesn't care if you reveal something after what 50 years?
I mean, because they were
I guess it'll be
retired, and
classified.
they couldn't do
Isn't-
it.
isn't-
I don't think.
Isn't there like a policy about that? Like after 50 years, they have to.
Release the documents?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Classified stuff.
Not long ago,
JFKs
they're
were supposed to be
JFK,
Yeah,
released.
exactly. Yeah.
No, they were released. You
Yeah,
can
they were
download it.
released.
Oh, nice.
You send an email to some government
You have to
Address?
request it, yeah.
and they send it back to you. I actually did. I read.
And then you got them.
Yeah, I got
you
like a
read
zip
them.
file. I read some, but it's practically
Couldn't they just
unreadable.
edit it? They don't have to be truthful. They
Yeah,
can say
you're
this
right.
is what happened.
No, these aren't like PDF files.
No, that's
That's like scanned,
this is
fucked up paper.
This is not what I meant. I'm saying the redacted files and shit. They can.
I actually believe that. I don't think if they found something in something out of the realm of possibility, and after 50 years they have to show it. Like,
Yeah, what a
they-
stupid
they
rule.
don't give a
Yeah,
shit.
exactly.
Guys, you have to because
It's
we
time,
said
man.
the past.
TikTok,
we had a
TikTok.
pinky swear.
That expired. I think he swears
Yeah.
down.
Okay, so these people said we found stuff. Then what?
Yeah, actually, it was in 1978 that there was this nuclear physicist, Stanton Friedman, and he's a well-renowned ufologist, and he said he actually interviewed Jesse Marcel, and that kind of kickstarted the whole UFO, the Roswell UFO craze.
Isn't there like a UFO museum there?
Yeah, actually there is. It's
Yeah,
The
in
Roswell
Roswell.
Museum, UFO
UFO
Museum.
museum?
It's
something?
alien themed, and
Yeah, it looks
I-
really cool.
I have a
remember seeing it
conspiracy.
on Google.
I have
About
a
what?
conspiracy. What if the mayor of the city did all of the shit for the tourists?
What if he's a fucking grey dude?
Actually, okay. No, using alien stuff. What if he's a great dude? Using alien. This is what I was saying with people who come out later after all these years. Using these kind of things to gain money or fame is not out of the realm.
They do it all the time.
I guess.
But I don't think it was about money. I think they just wanted their stories to be heard, and
So they're lonely.
That's a good response. I mean, can't argue with that.
they just wanted to expose the truth.
For the record, I believe. I don't know if it's Roswell or something else that we don't know about. I'm sure
It's an alien craft.
I'm sure there was some sort of encounters somehow. Like if you look at the Egyptians and shit like that.
Oh, you're talking in general.
Extraterrestrial encounters,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, like it was like you can find references to higher beings in like multiple
and
cultures
exactly,
throughout history, you know.
Hieroglyphics and the
Yeah, like the
yeah.
Aztecs had like drawings and sculptures of these guys that would sit in like these kind of chairs.
Yeah.
And they look like their faces are directed to the sky, and it looked like a cockpit
And
basically.
I think there's some sort of painting for Mary, I think, or some
Yeah, exactly. There's a
in the
UFO.
background.
Yeah, in the background. Yeah.
I mean, any weird shape could be claimed as
It's an
UFO.
anachronism.
It's literally
Yeah.
a UFO. It's not something else.
There are also
Saucer.
the lines in Peru as well, like the Nazca lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Nazca. Yeah, those. What
We
are they
figured
called?
out how
Crop
they
lines?
did it though.
Yeah, yeah.
They released how they
What,
figured
the crop lines?
the Nazca lines.
Oh, how
put
did they do 'em?
sticks and
Yeah.
sticks and just to make it aligned, you know,
Yeah,
because they didn't have any
rulers.
rulers back then, you know. So
Like, because someone said, like, how could you do it without seeing from the sky? I'm like, well, first, humans have been able to do that for years. Second, yeah, it's just a series of, like, sticks and,
Yeah.
like, rope that was
Yeah.
lined up. So it's not, like, there are things that can be explained. Although, back to Roswell, I think, like, let's say it is an alien spacecraft, and they did discover it. And they tried to figure out the technology. What does that mean for the world?
that means one thing, that if World War III
Oh, boy.
comes up,
Well, there will be a World War III.
Intergalactic.
the US is
Federation
gonna
kind
come
of
up with
thing.
some. With some
I was gonna come
badass
back to
plan.
that.
You're always
Look, if they can travel to our planet, they're already far beyond our technological
Yeah,
level.
of course.
I
that's
think if some sort of alien race that's that advanced, I'm sure they can. They'll look at us like some tourist destination. They don't give a shit about.
Why
Yeah,
tourists?
we're
It's,
still
I
like
think they'll
insects
see
to
us the
them.
same we treat like
ants.
any other insect or animal, like just like, oh, that's cute,
Yeah, exactly.
and we will be taken over,
stomped on.
Yeah.
basically.
Well, we're dumb, you know. We
You know, I don't
compared
think
to
so.
them,
I don't
we're
think
dumb,
so,
I
I don't
guess,
think
but
so.
I
You know
mean,
what? Because I believe that they already
Well, they wouldn't have crashed the ship.
Yeah, he's
about
right.
them. About
Like,
I
maybe
have-
those
I
aliens in
have
particular
something.
were dumbasses.
I
What
have
about that,
something.
huh?
I have a
The
comment.
village idiot.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
have a comment.
yeah.
You always do.
Fuck yeah, that's my job, man.
Okay.
All right, so we're talking about a flying saucer with some advanced civilization,
Okay.
some high-tech shit. You know what I'm saying? Why do they always crash their fucking ships?
What in America? Or
Maybe
In
there's,
America-
wait,
I mean,
maybe there's a whole
probably-
bunch that don't crash.
First of all,
That was probably just like a, you know.
I mean,
if you
the
can
people
fly,
aren't perfect.
if you
you
can
know?
fly- rarity.
Aliens
if you can
aren't
fly
perfect
from
as well.
galaxy to galaxy, how would you fucking crash it on a planet?
I mean,
Something can always go wrong.
just
And something
happens.
else. Why is it always in some desert or some ranch and there's some
And
redneck
if
next to
it's
it?
Because
like-
that's where the aliens would hide.
Yeah, exactly.
Where else would they go?
I guess when they were
Well,
like,
no,
next to the
aliens-
rednecks?
if an alien's visiting a city,
They-
visiting Earth, why would they go to a populated city and freak everyone out?
yeah,
It's like when humans go
Actually,
to
they've done
a.
that in like
the Battle of Los Angeles.
yes, and there was also
No,
the
these are
19-
movies examples.
No,
It's true.
What the
It's
fuck?
true.
What?
We'll talk about that later in another episode.
Is it those? Is it the lights that move or whatever in LA that happened?
Yeah, and then
the-
the anti-air guns were just shooting up at the sky, and everyone was like looking on. They were
Yeah,
like, holy shit,
that's
what is
Elon
that?
Musk playing around.
Holy shit, he was there back then.
I don't think so. I'm just
Who?
joking, man.
Okay, shit.
There was also like in 1997 the Phoenix Lights, and
I haven't heard of that.
Oh, I've heard
Yeah.
of those.
so
Yeah.
I
Oh
don't
yeah, the
think it's,
Phoenix Lights.
I don't think it's just like
Can you describe them a bit? I don't know about
What, the Phoenix Lights?
Yeah.
it was a massive like triangle-shaped aircraft, supposedly from outer space that appeared, and hovered for
What, for how
for
much?
like I guess I don't know for a short amount of time, but
Okay.
everybody witnessed this.
Oh, it was
phenomenon.
everybody? I thought it was like the police officers
No,
that
it
saw
was
them.
civilians also witnessed this.
Oh, wow.
Which is funny because we do have an actual stealth craft that is triangular shaped.
Yeah, you're right. It's the. Are
Blackbird?
you talking about the?
No, not the Blackbird. It's
Oh yeah, the stealth bomber. I forgot
yeah,
what it's called. Yeah,
it's
I know
a
what
stealth
you're talking
bomber. The Blackbird is shaped like a. Well, I'm not going to say.
Such
It.
a
Okay.
creative
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
Stealth bomb.
Look, it's the American
No,
give it-
military.
We're
Just give it some
paraphrasing
badass
here,
name.
but it has a more.
Would you
elaborate
rather
name
call
than
the XZ 2021 one? Like that sounds.
No, just call it the flying flying
Flying
Dorito.
Flying Pringle, yeah.
that? Yeah, yeah, that's
Flying-
perfect.
The
I
flying
mean, they're
Dorito.
actually ufologists call the UFOs as they refer to them as
Pringles.
Tic Tacs.
Tic Tacs.
Yeah, the Tic Tac.
Why Tic Tacs?
The
They
candy.
look like Tic Tacs.
So do clouds.
Clouds? They look
Clouds.
like Tic Tacs. Yeah.
Clouds look like
I
Tic
mean, you
Tacs.
should probably ask a meteorologist. They probably refer to.
Maybe a ufologist was like, he takes his whatever antipsychotic medication. He's like, wait a minute, and he thinks these are like tiny ships inhabiting his body.
Yeah, most likely.
That sounds like a Wes Anderson movie.
Can I have a segue?
I'd
Sure.
like to watch that. Yeah.
You can buy one.
Can I?
That's such a bad joke.
Oh my God, you're
Yeah.
getting
For
fired.
everyone, stop listening.
That's the last episode with John.
I know.
Enjoy his voice. Last
He was found killed after talking about aliens on a podcast show.
All right, so can't we draw a connection between people seeing UFOs and paranormal shit and psychedelics?
That
Psychedelics.
does have a draw. A lot of people say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe if you're high or
Yeah, whenever they go on
cooked at-
psychedelic trips, they see these aliens and they experience the same exact thing
Yeah.
all the time.
I mean-
everyone like if you're high on DMT, one of the main it's not stereotypical. The main common
Experience.
psychedelic experience is seeing a specific shape of people or aliens. I don't know. And that's common throughout the world. It's not like related to a culture or some religion or some shit.
Maybe that's the way we contact them.
Yeah, that's one of the theories. Like,
No, I was making a joke, but okay.
Look,
Yeah, actually, he's gonna talk about Alex Jones.
yeah, like what he was saying is that what if when you take DMT and DMT is produced by the brain before you die? And
Yeah, exactly. That's what
Yeah.
I said. Like near-death experiences happen because of DMT.
Yeah,
That's why they see
so-
these tunnels of light and
True.
God, quote unquote, and stuff like that.
So
What is DMT, by the way?
it's
I
like
forgot what it's a chemical in the
yeah.
brain that's produced in very
Certain circumstances.
exactly.
yeah, before you die,
Before you die or
your
something.
brain releases DMT,
Huh.
Yeah.
and people say it's related to your near-death experience and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so when you're high on DMT and maybe it just removes this filter of your senses in your brain.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It releases the
Yeah, it just remove the sensory, the filter. I mean,
yeah.
from your brain, and you start actually you open up to what's above what you can't feel normally. So let's say the fourth dimension, or I don't know. So that's I think that's true.
So it's a natural psychedelic, everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
I know, I'm just letting the audience know as well as
DMT,
myself. Yeah, I'm just letting them know, like,
yeah.
Yeah, that's a perfect explanation, actually.
But look, 80% of UFO cases can be explained away by probably, weather phenomena or
I have something about that.
misreported.
I mean,
yeah.
ball lightning was such a huge problem. For those of you who don't know, it's a very rare type. It's also called St. Elmo's fire, but it's a type of lightning that when it strikes a place, it forms into a ball, into a sort of plasma, and it
Oh,
holds
wow.
for a second or two, and then
Yeah.
it dissipates.
Actually, that happened in
That is
China
a-
a couple of times.
I'm saying that's a real weather thing, but if you look at weird distances or whatever, and it's not as common as you think, people tend to see it as a light formed or whatever.
I have a comment about that. I think people should just think about what's the probable thing to happen.
Yeah, like what's more likely?
What's more likely? If you see a triangle-shaped light in the sky, what's more likely? It's an alien or some sort of plane that is triangularly shaped?
Which we already know exists.
Yeah, let's say something
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
even better.
Or maybe it's some sort of star that is stars that are aligned that way. I don't know. You know.
Like the military makes new things. Like we only find out about the Blackbird much after they built
People
it, right?
say that the U.S. military is like 50 years more advanced technology.
I think it's
Probably
50.
because they retrieved the alien technology from a downed UFO.
links it to the theory.
Why wouldn't they
about-
use it to solve bigger issues?
Because they simply
these
don't
are
care.
egomaniacs who want to have.
Not everyone in
military-
government is evil.
or,
That's not how it
Yeah,
works.
that's a hasty generalization.
No,
Fallacy.
I think with great power comes great corruption, and I think everyone, if you give anyone
Okay.
the highest
The
amount
argument
of
with
power,
corruption, if I found a new power source from an alien thing, why would I just spend it on weaponry? I could, you know how rich you could be if you discovered a new energy source.
You're right. I agree with John.
They would waste it if they were just like, we're gonna make it into
But
weapons.
Following this point, why didn't the U.S. military just put a lot of cash into meteorite mining? Let's say
Meteorite mining isn't profitable. There's too
Is it?
few of them.
too few of them.
Too few.
Meteorites,
Yeah.
for the value they give, it's not many.
You know, space mining is going to be a thing in the near future.
Space mining works because there's a lot of them in space.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's a whole separate. I thought you meant meteorites that land. Meteorites is
No.
a meteorite is a meteor that's landed on Earth.
Yeah.
That's what the
Asteroids.
that's the difference.
Asteroids.
Thank you.
Made by
Alright,
asteroids.
It's okay. It's just language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Asteroid.
Asteroids
asteroid
and meteorites
mining
are different.
is something they do want to do. It's just not practical with the tech we have now. But if they had the tech from the alien thing, they would have done that. So that's my argument of like, why are they wasting it on warfare instead of economics, which is more profitable?
Yeah.
War only works if it's sustainable. If you have higher technological warfare and you end a war too quickly, you don't make money off it. That's why wars are dragged out.
That's why there's this military complex, with industrial military
What?
complex. It's
Where?
like, that's why you do every period of time passes and there's some sort of war because they want to sell their weapons and shit like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know
They
what
sell
you
to
mean.
both
Military
sides.
complex.
They sell to both sides all the
Yeah,
time.
if you
That's
look at
not
Yemen,
that's not a conspiracy theory. That happens.
Yeah.
That happens.
And I'm blaming them though. Because some people really don't believe that wars are not for profit. They're like, it's for patriotism. No, they want to make money.
Yeah, it is for
And the thing is, if they had this technology from an alien crash, using that to war would not be as useful as doing it economically, because if a war ends too fast, it's not profitable. I mean, think of how many things they've delayed conflict so long. Feeding to each side delays a conflict. If I have one side with overpowered weapons or myself,
But what if the sides are the U.S. and China, or the U.S. and Russia, or
yeah. Why would the argument
What?
change?
Because if you are the one in danger,
Yeah.
like let's put aside the proxy wars where the U.S. is backing some nation and the Soviets are
Yeah.
back then
Yeah.
were backing the communists, you know. So they don't give a shit about dragging a war here in Lebanon because they are not actually affected by it. They're just selling their guns. They want to have more political
Influence.
on the region, you know. But if one of the main parties is the United States, I think they actually care about ending a war fast, and they actually care
Yeah.
about having the superiority. Because if they don't, you're gonna see New York getting bombed and shit, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, why would they only use why can't they use the technology for both?
For what?
Both warfare and economics.
They should.
A new energy source,
They
a new
should.
metal.
They should. Again, I'm a libertarian. I don't believe in big government. I don't like the military in general and big military. But I think if they actually uncovered some strange metal that has these type of properties,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think maybe we'll see it in the World War III. Never know. Maybe they're gonna use it in some sort of tank.
So you're saying that they're probably
Why
using
wouldn't
this
anyone-
technology for a secret weapon or something just to defend themselves?
Yeah. I was like, why wouldn't anyone in
From an
the
impending,
invader?
yeah.
I was like, why wouldn't anyone in the government leak that? I mean, if Snowden can leak shit, why can't we? Why can't anyone? like-
WikiLeaks leaks shit too.
No, I'm saying, when they leak the idea of the
Maybe that's
metal.
on the dark web. I don't know.
Maybe that's what they want them to leak.
So I guess the military.
That actually is not so far-fetched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the military is just sticking to their Project Mogul story. It's very flimsy.
It makes sense to me.
What are you gonna talk about Project Mogul now?
I mean, we already covered it. But if we want to go into details, it The doctor said that it was actually the Roswell, like what happened in Roswell actually belonged to Project Mogul, and it was the remains of a 700-foot long string of neoprene balloons, radar reflectors, and sonic equipment that the scientists had launched from the base in June, and that had crashed in in July 1947.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So-
weird, man. That's very weird.
Yeah. Well, speaking about weird things, I guess, are you going to talk about your weird ghost story as well?
Yes, I'm going to talk about my story.
This is not our Halloween episode, by the way.
It's way too
Ghosts
early
and
for
shit,
that.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I honestly didn't have any
Paranormal
encounter.
experiences.
No, me neither.
What about you, Francis? Have you?
No, I have no paranormal
But
experiences.
you believe in the paranormal, don't you?
Yeah, yeah, to a certain
Unquantifiable phenomena?
extent. Yeah, I really like your stories of ghosts and aliens and stuff like that.
For anyone who doesn't know, I used to be an amateur paranormal investigator.
Full time. On Sundays too. Yeah.
He was an ace detective.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll tell you my story. So in the summer of 2008, my sister actually invited me to West Africa, specifically Lagos, Nigeria. And I hear you're from Ivory Coast, right?
Yeah.
So we're kind of neighbors. And okay, so unbeknownst to me, our next door neighbors were actually members of a satanic cult. There were
Oh, that's a jump.
Yeah.
Wait, can I ask a specific question? What do you
Yes.
mean by what do you mean, how do you know they're members? Like, can you give details?
because we would I'll get to it.
Okay,
There were
sorry.
practitioners of voodoo. So
I'd love to have some satanic guy or girl here.
trust me, you don't want that. You don't want to mess with a cult.
Not really. Alright, anyways.
So anyway, things at first things were quite normal, and I didn't really see anything. And it wasn't until 2 days into my visit that I started seeing shadows flitting from one place to the other. And I actually, my next door neighbor was also experiencing paranormal phenomena, and everybody in the neighborhood was affected by it. But so I got close to my neighbor, and she was telling me that she was also seeing things that defy rational explanation.
Like
So
what? How
she was
shades,
seeing
shit.
shadow people.
Shadow people?
Yeah.
Isn't
What
that
do you
just
mean by
shadows of people? Like,
No,
Yeah, like a
actual
dark
shadow
silhouette
people.
of a
like-
man
like a
or
float-
Like an actual
Silhouette?
physical shadow
a
person.
physical manifestation
Yeah,
of a shadow?
exactly.
Okay.
yeah. So
Did you guys have these before you knew they were part of a cult or after?
Yeah,
No.
that makes sense.
no, we didn't know anything at the time. We didn't know why this was happening.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I invited her over, and that's how we we bonded over the summer. So once we were actually having a discussion. We were sitting on a couch, and there was a power outage, and I turned to my left, and I see a dark silhouette of a man sitting next to me.
What was he doing?
He was just there, like
Chilling.
I guess.
Hey,
so.
demons need to relax too, man.
Fuck yeah.
Why
And
gotta
then-
be hating?
They work hard in hell.
I'm ghost phobic.
Oh, sorry.
Kidding.
For the audience, I'm a ghost.
Holy shit.
So he's a woman and a ghost, and I'm a transgender black woman.
Yep. Go ahead.
That was quite a
That was weird. That was weird. Yeah.
a detour. So okay, so going back to the story, so the temperature, it was the dog days of summer, so the temperature just plummeted, and we had vapor coming out of her mouths, and we were both immobilized by fear.
Vapor
We
coming of what?
out of her mouths, we
Yeah,
were.
when it's really cold.
When a spirit manifests,
okay. I
it
thought it was
sucks out.
coming from the ghost. Alright.
No. When the spirit manifests, it sucks out the energy from from the room, and we couldn't move. We were
Both of you
paralyzed by
saw
fear.
it at the same time?
We did. Yeah, I turned to her and it's like, "Do you see that?" I was like, "Yeah, I do see it," and we just couldn't move. And that was the first of many incidents. And apparently the entity would mimic my deceased friend's voice and call out to me.
Yeah.
And I was actually.
That's creepy.
Yeah, and I was shoved. I was, physically assaulted, and my friend also.
Did you have like marks and stuff on you?
Yeah, I did.
What?
Marks?
Yeah,
What do you mean
I
by
had like
marks?
3 scratch marks on my back.
Wow.
Yeah, like
Did you feel the scratches though?
I actually did. It was burning. It was.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So, and usually they just, those 3 scratch marks, like, it's like they mock the usually when demons manifest, or they're, they plague, home or someone, they usually like to, leave, like 3 marks, or because they, the Holy Trinity, they mock the Holy Trinity, they understand the Holy
Okay,
Spirit.
good.
Or just marks of 3 in general.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Cookie.
So, my sister was a skeptic. She didn't really believe in any of that. So it wasn't until she actually had a party and she invited people over.
Did she see the scratches?
She thought I was probably, I was engaging in youthful shenanigans. Yeah.
That's
She
nice.
was like, yeah.
Probably high on
because-
Classically
yeah.
putting 3 scratches on your back. Classic kid stuff.
Classic kids, yeah.
How can
And-
you do that though? It's on your
Well, that's the
back.
point. How would you scratch your back
can you
in
scratch your
in
fucking back?
particular
Like
lines?
my friend could do it. That's what she, that she thought it was.
I always ask my friends to scratch my back.
That's a helpful friend. All right.
Go on. Wait, so the
Do
party.
you have scars?
No, I don't. I actually, I did have, like, they were not very significant, but they obviously with time, they kind of faded. So she was, a hard-boiled skeptic. She didn't really, she wasn't privy to what was going on because she was a workaholic. So one day she had a party and everybody was invited, her friends and family, neighbors, and they were physically assaulted.
At
At the same time. I
Is she
kid
still
you not.
living there?
No, of course not. She moved out
Because of that?
because of that.
Yeah,
I
of
mean,
course.
She believes now.
she believes, yes, she is a believer in the paranormal. And then we actually called a priest, and
What did he tell you?
he said that there was something in
What kind of priest though? Was he like a village shaman or was it like
he was like
the
a
Christian priest?
like a
$100
Christian priest,
bundle.
from the church.
Oh, he's like a Protestant Catholic thing, like an actual Christian priest, not like a shaman, like what you said.
No, not like a witch doctor.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
He has
that.
exactly.
credentials.
Yeah. He was a priest from a church, and a Christian church, and he said that there was something in this energy, this malevolent energy was coming out from, emanating from somewhere, in the neighborhood,
Yeah.
and we had to get to the bottom of this. Like,
Yeah.
we wanted to figure out what was going on. So my friend and I, we would actually, we noticed that our neighbors were kind of, recalcitrant. They were very reclusive, and they didn't really come out. And we would hear
Chants?
chanting,
Yeah.
and they were just eerie voices, coming out.
What,
from
at
their-
night, or was it
at
all
night,
day?
Yeah, at night, and they were. All,
I mean, satanic rituals don't
Satanic
normally
rit-
take place in the day,
Yeah.
and that's not even much of a joke. It's like, yeah, why would you do it in the day? Yeah.
And then I apprised my sister of this, and she discovered that there is something going on in that house, and we called the cops, and they apprehended the suspects.
So the cops deal in paranormal activity.
Like they just believe they actually discovered
Ghostbusters.
They arrest
Yeah,
the
they're
ghosts.
Ghostbusters.
they're
Yeah.
Ghostbusters, yeah, real
What do you
Ghostbusters.
guys think of Satanists in general?
Well,
I have no idea.
Well, Alan has good feelings about them after his first experience.
Has anyone here just tried to read like the Satanic Bible? And
No,
That's
but I've
very
talked to
different from
Satanists
actual
before.
demon rituals.
I read some stuff online and it didn't seem so bad,
Hmm.
Well, of course it doesn't seem bad. That's the whole point.
It
They're trying to
seems-
get you.
No, that's not my point. If your Bible is like,
You mean the Book of the Leviathan? That's the book they use.
I don't know what it's called. I just,
You read the text, you don't know the title?
No, I just read Satanic Bible and I got some website.
The Satanic Bible, okay, this is a common misconception, but the Satanic Bible is not the same as the book. So the actual Satanists, not the cult, the actual believers of Satan, they use
Yeah.
something called the Book of the Leviathan,
Okay.
which is it's a bunch of holy texts that are written by people who actually worship and believe in Satan. The cult, which is the Church of Satan, uses the Satanic Bible. So there are two different groups.
Okay.
I'm not saying what you're saying is incorrect.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
saying there is a difference.
All right. So it sounded like common sense. What
What you
it
read?
sounded like what people actually do.
Okay. What do you mean what people actually do?
It's like when you read the normal Bible.
I mean, it's
the
very
Christian-
down to earth.
Yeah, it's down to earth.
Like what? Well, down to earth isn't a positive sense because down to earth things can be fucked up too.
Yeah.
No, my point is if someone hits you on the cheek, turn.
It says that too?
No, it says that in the normal Bible.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so I think their version of that is that if someone hits you on the cheek, just hit them back or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So it just talks about shit that what normal people do.
Yeah.
Like no one actually practices what the Bible actually tells you to do, other than not raping and not.
Well, some
murdering.
churches don't even do that.
Yeah. Like I'm talking about the OG one, you know, the
I
Catholic.
get.
OG.
Okay, no joke. I get what you're saying. Like some people just believe for the sake of believing or
Yeah.
tradition or whatever.
Like everyone lies here, you know.
And you're saying it's the same with the Satanic Bible?
Yeah.
Like that just
From what
people-
I've read, at least. I don't know if there's some fucked up shit that you need to rape your mother or some shit.
I mean, it's a Satanic Bible. If it doesn't have anything of that sort, why bother?
What do you mean?
Why call it the Satanic? What makes it satanic if it's not evil?
We come back to the question of what is evil.
Okay,
mean,
I think
it's-
we're,
Yeah,
we're
really.
going into elaborate digressions. Okay, so we'll
That's-
save that for another episode.
Yeah, yeah,
We'll talk
really
about
is.
it.
We
Yeah.
saved that for the cult episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Yeah.
the EU all over again.
Yeah.
Okay, so in conclusion, the police discovered that they were actually conducting, really dark rituals there.
Yeah.
They found like mason jars, filled with bones, human
Mason
bones.
jars.
Yeah, mason jars.
Yeah.
They're like
Yeah.
jars called Mason.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
KFC party.
I guess so. And
Just bones. Don't they have like fetuses and stuff like that you see in the movies?
like not really, but they found they found just like bones of like I guess of
Like
kids.
voodoo
Were they
items.
fresh?
Voodoo items,
Yeah,
yeah,
voodoo
like
items.
dolls and.
Oh yeah, they probably
it's
delve
like
in,
having
in
a
the
fetus
animal
and stuff.
sacrifice
I
and
think
stuff like that,
It's
right?
just any
Yeah.
dark ritual. I don't think it's Satanism.
It's not Satanism.
I mean,
I think there
Yeah,
are
it's
maybe
like
some
African
voodoo.
Yeah,
That's what I said. Voodoo.
Cult of something fucked up.
Yeah, no, voodoo makes sense.
Voodoo.
I think Satanism is a bit more specific.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the killing the baby and fucking the fetus, or I don't know what.
I think it's just
what they are
edgy
put-
teens. I don't think.
This is just movie stuff, you know. It's not the real. It's not what they actually do. From
Yeah.
what I've read, at least.
I mean, not all voodoo practitioners are,
No, I'm
evil.
not talking. No,
Yeah.
I'm talking
Yeah,
about
you're right.
Yeah.
the real Satanists.
The real Satan, yeah, like people who actually want to inflict, harm
yeah.
on others. They just probably get a doll and they try to, use a needle
Does
to.
that actually work?
It
though?
does work. I've seen it before.
You've seen it?
I've seen
You
it.
mean you've seen it?
My parents have seen it as well.
Oh wow.
It
Yeah.
works.
It works.
You
It
mean
does
you mean
work.
you've
What
seen
works?
it in action?
in
That's
action?
what I
Yeah,
mean.
I've seen it in action. Like they did
Wait,
it on
wait,
an
wait.
animal, not on a
Oh,
human.
an animal. Yeah.
So.
Was it the where?
Maybe it's like a party trick, like they train the animal
No,
to
no, no.
react.
I kid you not. It wasn't. It was the animal was in so much pain.
Oh wow, that
Yeah.
much.
Why?
What kind of animal?
It was a
like
goat.
dog? A goat.
A goat.
Wow.
Oh.
And yeah, it was a very traumatizing experience for me, and I actually went into therapy for about 6 months.
Yeah.
And I can't sleep with the lights on today, so
Oh yeah.
the lights
Off.
off. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well then.
Okay, so I guess that's a wrap.
I'm
right?
glad you're okay.
Thank you. I appreciate
Yes.
that. Yeah, Robin doesn't probably believe in the paranormal, so.
No, I think he actually does, but probably not in the same
I
way.
need
I
to
don't
see
know.
it though.
So wait, I have like.
Let's go kill someone and make it a ghost.
Let's try it out. Vlog episode.
I want to go ghost hunting
In Lebanon,
in
yeah.
Lebanon, but I just can't seem to find any paranormal.
Does
hotspots.
someone lose his or?
There is a
grandpa?
haunted house in Brahmana.
Really? Can we
Yeah.
go there?
It's like it's
haunted.
on top of a hill and it's a very nice apartment thing, and no one buys it because they claim someone died in it, and no one just wanted to live in it because it was haunted supposedly. So I thought, like, oh, that's kind of weird.
Wait, do you know where it is? Like,
I won't know the exact location. I've seen it and I know it on the road, but I can't I can't
guys-
drop a pin.
You guys know the theory that the time is actually just a concept,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that there's no past and present
Okay.
and future. Everything is going on at the same time.
Yeah.
So maybe that explains the ghosts and shit like that. Like the past, that someone died and was feeling agony, it's still in this particular place, and you come here after a year. Let's say.
Residual, like,
residual haunting.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what it's
exactly.
called. Because there are two types of hauntings. There's an intelligent haunting and a residual haunting. Intelligent haunting is when the
they like stack chairs in the living room.
yeah, that's like a
I know, that was
That's
I was just being annoying.
Just being nice at that point.
yeah, and I don't look. I think for me, I don't think it's a demonic presence. I think it's like an intelligence.
Just a spirit, you know,
I
another
mean-
dimension.
Probably an interdimensional being.
Yeah, sure.
So
Well, back to aliens.
Yeah, is that connected to the Intergalactic Federation?
probably I was just like bringing that up. Okay, but
They're just tourists.
if anybody has a ghost story they want to tell, they can just come. They can contact us and relate their
Send
story.
us
On
blood-stained
Instagram.
letters.
On
No.
Instagram. Contact us on Instagram.
Yep.
Yeah.
At the _podcast_theory.
Or if you know any haunted houses,
Yeah. Tell us. please.
tell
Contact
us. Please. I'd like
us.
to explore and investigate. So
Yeah.
Alright,
Yeah.
guys.
We're all gonna be behind you, by the way. You're gonna lead the expedition.
definitely,
Yeah.
because you're all scared.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold the flashlight
You
and
have a
say,
vacuum?
"Oh hell no!"
Do you have a vacuum? We might need it, you don't know. Or some onions. Maybe there are some vampires there.
No, that's
You mean garlic?
I'm gonna vacuum.
Yeah,
the
this is
Onion-
gonna make them cry. Dude.
Imagine how embarrassing that would be if you were facing a vampire and it was just onions. He's like,
Yeah.
oh fuck, I
"Look,
fucked
man,
up.
do you want to go home? Like, do you need some time?"
I'm gonna
Come back when you're
vacuum
ready.
the shit
Here
out
we
of you, Robin.
So that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Podcast Theory. Make sure to hit subscribe, give us a like, and if you know someone that likes podcasts in general, because for some reason it's not popular in Lebanon, I don't know why, make sure to tell them about the podcast. We're gonna be talking about a lot of shit. Next week's episode isn't decided yet, but make sure to subscribe. Actually follow our Instagram account at the Podcast Theory, and
Yeah.
there's
With underscores between
the words.
So the _podcast _
Yes.
theory.
Yeah.
All right, so because we usually film these on Friday, and we're gonna be posting a banner for the upcoming episode on Wednesday. So if you want to know what's cooking, check out our Instagram.